This Q3 podcast highlight comes from both Roundtables number 7 and number 8. These groups were simply asked whether they trust Titan Fitness or not. 4 ended up voting one way, while 3 voted the other. All right, here are the clips that will simply play back to back.
No, let's move on. So,
we'll give it time.
True or false? I trust Titan Fitness. Oh, wow!
Get out of here! Hold on. I gotta press the. I'm gonna hit the leave button.
Well, so it's a very open question. I trust Titan Fitness. Yeah. Now, I trust that Titan Fitness is going to continue doing what they've always been doing.
Okay.
Yeah, for those listening, it was 2-1 voting true. Gluck was the only one who voted false.
Yeah, I would say that my true is with a caveat, and I would say that I trust Titan more on version 2s or greater. I wouldn't necessarily trust Titan on version 1 of things, but I will say that I feel, based on my experience with Titan and some of the feedback in the market, that they have come a long way since they were where they were just a couple years ago. When their safety straps were failing, and literally you wouldn't want to trust it because you might get decapitated. I don't necessarily think that that's the case these days. So I'm not outfitting my gym with a lot of Titan stuff, but I think they've come a long way. I trust them on version 2 or greater.
See, I don't trust them. I agree they've come a long way, though I've seen some of their early racks. Some of them were decent, if they got to your house in the correct amount of pieces. But now I look at their catalog, and you have things like the Titan pivoting tricep bar, which we all know is my favorite, and that's intense sarcasm if nobody's seen that, if you haven't seen that review. But even the Titan Series safety squat bar, to come out and make this big deal, kind of picking on rep a little bit, and come out and say it's American made steel, and they're kind of beating around the bush that it's not a fully American product, but they're not saying that. They're making it sound like it is, and that's the way they're selling it. And to me, that's dishonest. And it's clearly that pad is not American. Sure, the bar comes from Solid Bar Fitness or whatever, but when you go that hard against another company and you're spitting all that stuff, and then we get it in and like, okay, this is just a crappier version too. I don't know. That's just a recent example. I'm sure if I took time, I could come up with some others. I do think they make a lot of really good stuff. I just don't really trust them.
I really think they make a lot of good basic stuff. And I used to be a habitual rep hater, and getting comments on videos where I kind of hate a little bit on Titan has really kind of opened me up to thinking like, okay, so a lot of these comments are the rack, the cups, and the safeties, V2 and above. I agree with both of you guys on that. They're fine. They're good to go. And as far as building out a basic gym, they're good to go. It's the other stuff on top of it. So like when they try to make the safety squat bar. And then I do agree that it's for someone like me, because my gym is 100% made in USA. And I'm not going to say 100%, but like 95% made in USA. For them to come out and try to trick, or that's what it seems like. I agree with you. It's like they're trying to trick you into purchasing the safety squat bar because it's almost made in USA. It does seem a little bit deceptive. But as far as like, do I trust the basic bare bones equipment? Like, absolutely. At this point, stepping into a Titan rack. When I was just on the road in Tampa, one of the gyms I went to, I was squatting off of a Titan rack, and I didn't think twice about it other than, judging it a little bit, but I didn't really think twice about it from a safety perspective or from a function perspective, because a rack is a rack. It might not be my preference, but it still functions just fine.
Yeah, I agree with the function standpoint. I think they make a lot of great budget equipment, and I think they're very important for the space because they keep everybody else honest. I think their stuff works good. I just don't trust the words coming out of their mouth sometimes, but I do recommend a lot of their stuff. So
I am still waiting to see this. So Coop last year or year before or something like that said that Titan's about to like hit the market with all this brand new stuff. And I feel like I'm still waiting on that wave of whatever that was supposed to be. So if that happened, I guess the wave didn't hit that hard. but I wasn't sure
I
what
don't
you
think
guys
it's happened
thought.
yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, is like, has
I
anything
haven't
actually occurred?
I don't know, Adam. I haven't noticed them doing. I mean, they drop some stuff, but nothing crazy
Yeah.
innovative. I don't see a big wave push like I
Yeah,
do from Rep.
nothing too innovative. And usually the things that are portrayed as innovative in the market are really just clones of obscure pieces that people don't necessarily have access to or have seen in the past. Although their
Yep.
floor GHD is pretty interesting. I actually want to try that. It was a little bit more expensive than I was expecting from Titan. Quite honestly, I think it's like $600 or $700.
Yeah, I want to say it was 600 or
But
something.
it's pretty good for like space efficiency, and I'd be curious to see how it felt relative to an actual GHD. But I think we're all sort of saying the same things. I sort of interpreted the question more in terms of like the physical product, but I definitely see your point too, Gluck, and I would absolutely agree with you in terms of some of that marketing and et cetera.
I think Jake was just trying to bait me to make things exciting.
That's exactly what I was trying to do. I think a lot of us.
Good
That
stuff.
was good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3, I trust Titan Fitness.
False on this one.
Wow.
Oh man,
Wow.
it's kind of a tie. One is like a hardcore fuck Titan Fitness. But 2-2. Let's go 2-2. All right. Eccles, you are you're loaded with Titan Fitness.
Yeah.
Why should someone trust Titan?
Well, so when I bought all my stuff, so I kind of tempered my expectations right away. I hardly have anything that came from brand new from Titan. I bought most of my stuff off Scratch and Dent, so I already knew it was going to be scratched up. But I mean, usually Scratch and Dent, you save 20%, and I'm going to scratch it, dent it anyways. So I might as well just save the money because then I can buy more equipment. So pretty much everything I have in here is from Titan. So they've made a lot of money off of me.
What's a typical Scratch and Dent product look like?
You know, dings on the landmine attachments, dings on the sleeves, some chipping of the powder coat, maybe not the best weld. And we were talking the other day about the crappy stickers and the naming. So it's usually not stuff that's, too terrible. I'm going to scratch it up anyways, so might as well save some money.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
I'll jump in on this one. I have a road rack now, but I bought the Titan T2 rack in November of 2014 when it was like Titan and New York Barbell were really kind of the two main options for 2x2 flat foot racks back then. And I got Titan before most people got Titan because one of the legs that came, the weld, the bracket where it bolted to the back rear cross member wasn't straight. And so it took like 7 to 10 days for them to get a new one shipped out. But I lifted on that rack from 2014 to 2020, so 6 years. I'm not a big guy, but I mean, I hit a lifetime PR of 350, twice my body weight on back squat in that rack. I never felt worried about it. With that said, I love my road rack, but if things hadn't worked out the way they had and I was still squatting and benching in that, I wouldn't be worried about it at all.
I take this one as, do I trust Titan Fitness to send me a really good product, not fucked up out of the box? No, I really don't. Do I trust Titan Fitness products to not break on me? Yeah, probably. I also have the Titan T2. It doesn't get a lot of use. It's my third rack that just kind of, whenever we need to, it's the only rack that I can use that you can squat facing out. Everything else faces the wall. So like the vanity in me has to use it every now and then to see my quads when I squat. So it's the only reason I still have it. I actually bought that. My buddy bought that brand new. It came with one of the cross members crimped a little bit, so I think he got a full refund, and they didn't take it back, so he sold it to me for like $100. So I've had that. That was actually one of my first pieces I got in 14, 15, something like that, same time frame. It's also seen at least a 400-pound squat from me and 600-pound squats from other people, but it's piece of shit. It's very light duty. The J cups suck. I don't love it. I just picked up a Titan trap bar for essentially free after I sold the other piece I bought with it. I've used it a couple. I've only had to use it once though, but it seems okay. But the sticker was literally as crooked as it could be. It was like a 45-degree angle. Like, I don't understand how that's possible to put a sticker on that crooked. So if you trust to put a sticker on properly, no. Are you gonna die under their products? Was it Titan or Rep that had the safety straps fail?
It was Titan. It was Titan.
Yeah.
And I had those safety straps.
Oh man.
So for that, maybe it's an outlier, but for the most part, like, I know a lot of people that can, lift a lot of heavy weights in Titan equipment, but unless you're on a budget, I would avoid it.
I'll explain my answer a little bit, and I will say that I could have gone either way with this. It might have been one of those, if it was a multiple choice or something, I might have said I need more information. For me, do I trust Titan Fitness as a consumer? Sure. I trust that Titan Fitness is going to be, for me, like the gateway to whatever the good version of that product is. Like, whatever it is, I'm going to get it. It's going to be a little bit wonky, and it's going to be just enough to let me know that I will spend the money on the Kabuki version or the Rogue version or whatever it is. And I will be happy with whatever I get. And my costs, my out-of-pocket losses and stuff are going to be minimized because Titan is that inexpensive, right? I do trust that, like, if I have a problem with the product, whenever I receive it, customer service is going to be good. They're going to give me, if it's like a scratch and dent thing and it was supposed to be first quality, they'll give me 10% back if I want, or they'll give me a complete full refund. They'll replace it. They'll give me options for those kind of things, right? I know, and I can trust that. I've had enough experience with that stuff to know that that is what to expect from Titan. When it comes to business practices or things like that, I have a little bit of a unique situation with Titan that emotionally, I'm just not ready to get there and say, like, yeah, I trust them. I had a product that I had out of my ass, I kind of pulled out of my ass and came up with. I was posting pictures of it, videos and stuff, and showing off to all my buddies. They came to me, said that they would like for me to send them the product. They would like to check it out. I spoke with them on the phone. We had kind of like this gentleman's agreement type thing. About, because I asked him, like, straight up, like, please don't fuck me. I mean, I was like, I don't know any other way to say this, but you guys have a little bit of a reputation, and the guy that I spoke with, I'm not going to mention his name or anything, but we discussed it to where I felt comfortable enough where he was like helping me understand the process really well. He was, this is how we do it. These are the things that we do. It's okay. You don't necessarily need to get this. What I would recommend is you send the product in. I'll send you our version of it. You can have that for free. We'll take yours, we'll evaluate it. And then if we can make it, then I think you should move forward with getting, your patent and this and that and whatever. And I kind of went against my better judgment, but he did say, and I also at the time thought that I was going to be spending like thousands of dollars on a patent or something, right? I didn't know enough. And this is a lot of my fault, but the question is whether or not I trust them. And so anyway, I go through this process, and for months and months and months, I'm getting emails, and we're going back and forth, and I'm getting stuff like, and I've got the emails like, we really like this product. We believe that we can sell it for this. We believe that we'll be able to ship it for that. We would like to name it the McKee GHD. We would like to do this. What? Yeah. And so I'm like, this is pretty fucking sweet, right? And I've shared it with like 2 people along the way, even though I wasn't supposed to. But I'm the whole time I'm like, this is going to be this. It's not anything that I ever anticipated. Like, I'm not an inventor. You know what I mean? I'm not somebody that comes out and like with products or anything like that. I'm just a dude, and I'm just a man who parks in gym. I'm just a dude that, what I'm saying? That just I like building stuff or whatever, And so anyway, it was kind of a cool thing. And I even thought, like, man, if I never see a dime on this, it's still pretty cool. You know what I mean? And so I sent him an email once I received it back, and we talked about how the pricing or how the pay structure works. I told him that I would like to continue the conversation, and he came back and said, well, as soon as you get the patent, let me know. So I got the patent. I sent him an email. He didn't respond. I thought that was I didn't want to be like overly like eager beaver. So I waited a few days, sent another email, and then their floor GHD came out, which looked surprising. I mean, I know it looks more like someone else's floor GHD, but what stood out to me was that the thing they were most excited about with mine was the footprint when it's in storage and how it's stored upright, right? Which is really fucking similar to the thing that they put out. So they release that thing, and then almost like within a few hours, I get a response back to my request saying, "Oh, sorry, I'll give you the final answer, but because of our release of our floor GHD, we're afraid we may have too many GHDs. We're still evaluating it, but we'll let you know." And I'm like, well, this feels really fucking shady, you know? And I could be, you know, again, all the evidence suggests that maybe I shouldn't have trusted Titan. And I'm still in this kind of emotional state with it, where when you ask me if I trust them, I'm like, fuck Titan Fitness. You know what I mean? Like, I've got a couple of products from them, and it really has, and I'll continue to buy whenever I have to, I suppose, you know what I mean? But I don't, as in that light, I don't trust them. So fuck Titan Fitness.
It's understandable, man. That's understandable.
Yeah, it's cool.
Jason, would you have been upset if they still didn't give you any credit, but they called it the McTitan GHD?
I mean, you know, I feel like that is not too far away from some other experiences that I've had. Maybe not with something as big as Titan, but I have, you know, I have to, with social media in general, especially in this space, I have to like step back and take a breath and kind of remind myself of why I'm here and what I'm doing. I mean, like for me, a lot of this is like, it's about what I miss from the commercial gym is that sense of like community or camaraderie, even though some of the people I never spoke to, and I'll be honest, there were some, like there was one guy in my mind, I never said it to his face, but I remember like, I'd see him and I'd be like, oh, there's old pillow tits. You know what I mean? Like always here, it's like, you see the same people and like, sorry. But I do miss that, like human interaction and some sense of community, even in the gym with people that I never spoke with. And that's kind of what I get from social media and Instagram and garage gym community and that stuff. Even though, regardless of whether or not everybody thinks I'm an asshole or not, that's something that I do get from it. And I have to remind myself of that whenever I see those kind of things and I start feeling this kind of bitter resentment, like I deserve credit for that thing or this or that or whatever. So like the McTitan GHD thing, on one hand, it would probably equally have pissed me off, but at the same time, you know, what are you gonna do? I guess I could, I don't know what it is about credit on Instagram, social media stuff, but it will eat away at you sometimes.
Gotta get your clout up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the story a couple months ago when Gordon Briley was on here and he was talking about Titans starting to sell their stealth leg press. So he had to tell him that dad was a patent attorney, so they started paying him.
Right.
Yeah, so he actually had helped me a little bit in answering some of my questions. I didn't give him the specific details about what I was working on, but I started getting this feeling that I was getting screwed. And so he helped me, he kind of calmed me down a little bit when he was like, well, you know, this is my experience, you know, it takes a little bit longer because of this or it's that, whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I just, you know, it felt that, but yeah, I did reach out to him and it was a similar, I heard that after I had gone through this stuff and I was like, I can relate to that actually.
Well, Jason, let me ask you this. First of all, amazing story. That does suck, but that is an incredible story, truly. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. If anybody will believe it, I could just make those up.
Let me ask you. So I mean, that was crazy. So you say you have the patent, right?
Well, so what I have is a provisional patent, which
right.
Just basically, so Kyle kind of touched on this in a different podcast, but with a provisional, basically you submit your idea, you pay a few bucks, and that gives you, so it's for like, it's when you can put like patent pending on something, right? Okay. And so the idea behind it is that you can put this on there, you get your date of when you invented it or whatever, and then it gives you the opportunity to kind of test the market, test the feasibility of the product and sell it and see if there's enough return on it to go through with the full patent process.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So I have, but it has a 12-month expiration date, right? So by the time I didn't want to get the patent or the provisional and then send my thing, and then it'd be like them just sit on my product for 5 or 6 months, and then then I only have a couple of months to go through the rest of the patent to determine whether or not the return is enough on it. You know what I mean? Like when I had first talked to Titan, they were like, most of our stuff is not patented. And so my thought process was, if anybody's going to fucking steal it and like make a copy of it, it's going to be Titan. So I might as well just sell it to Titan, have them make it. No one's going to undersell them, and nobody's going to, you know what I mean? Like nobody that's going to remake it is going to, I mean, my biggest concern, honestly, was that they weren't going to make it as well as I did. Like it was just going to be this Titan version, like shitty padding or you know what I mean? Like, or like the gateway, you know what I mean? It's
right.
But that was my bigger concern. But at the end of the day, I was like, you know what, man, it'll be cool enough. It's something that I think garage gymmers would really be able to benefit from. So I thought it would be something cool to.
Well, that's what I was going with. I wouldn't quite give up on it. I think that's your model is definitely a better option for most than what Titan ended up bringing to the market. So, I mean, I wouldn't give up on it quite yet. So,
thanks, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's cool. And we can run a poll too. We can kind of put Titans next to what you've got as well to see what people would like if you have any interest in that. That might be some cool data, actually. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that was a story we did not expect.
Sorry, that was your 2-hour story there. Like, sorry, guys.
No,
I think we might be done now.
Anything you said is going to surprise anyone that knows anything about Titan, though.
Yeah.
No, and everybody's gonna be like, "What a dumbass!" You know what I mean? Like in hindsight, sure, but I mean, again,
Bro,
I was kind of
don't feel bad, man. Like
I was kind of in this mindset where I was like, I don't really care. I didn't do this to make money. You know what I mean? Like I really don't care at the end of the day. And then after a few months of, you start getting this, this could be really cool. But whenever you just, I don't know, man. Yeah. It was
honestly,
really
I would have done the same thing in that situation. And especially if they're coming across as like, hey man, we want to do this legit. Like we're, you didn't tell this part of the story. I don't mean to rat you out, but you posted you posted it before you applied for a patent. So they very well could have seen your post.
Anybody could have.
And applied for their own patent and not gotten in contact with you. So them getting in contact with you gave them legitimacy. So you're like, maybe I can trust them. And, if they're communicating with you like you can trust them, then that gives you that sense of security. So I don't fault yourself. I totally would have done the same thing.
And I honestly, I really don't think that anybody I don't think that any of them that I have spoken with or anything ever set out to do that. I don't think they were ever trying to be deceptive. You know what I mean? I think that once they got it in, once they did all this stuff, they probably thought, we could just update ours. I mean, the Floor GHD thing is something they had a long time ago, and they were doing an update on it anyway. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were just like, we could just integrate these ideas into our existing product and save a whole bunch of money. You know what I mean? Like that makes sense to me. All that stuff makes sense. It just felt, I don't know, disappointing, I guess.
Yeah, that is disappointing. And like what I honestly don't have too much communication with Titan at all, but like one message that I've heard loud and clear from them is that they claim to not be the old Titan. Like it's not the Titan that just used to get, send crappy material. They've been improving everyone they have a whole new team, a whole new like process, etc.
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff they need to do if they really want to like win home gym owners over, rather than just like they want to win the community over rather than just those who want the cheapest product. So I don't see why they wouldn't. So hopefully that's not over. But all right, we ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, cool.